once you start thinking sleight of hand, like it's to do something very mechanical, it's very limited.
Yeah.
To create something much better is the beauty of magic, right?
What up, guys? Today I'm going to be reviewing Thinking on Sleights by Tony Chang. This is one of my favorite projects on card magic ever, and it was released back in 2017, and not a lot of people know about it. There wasn't even a latest and greatest thread about it in the cafe, but this is, oh god, without a doubt, one of the best card magic downloads you can get. It consists of 3 chapters. Tony's work on Ricky Smith's cherry control. He has a lot of applications with it. The second chapter is an effect he teaches called The Curiosity from North Dakota, which is super visual. You're gonna love it. And the last chapter is the color change, his work on the color change. And then there's also an interview. It's 20 minutes long. And I know nobody watches my videos, but if you're watching this right now, they actually have a bundle on Vanishing Ink, and they include his effect sandwiches. Without gimmicks, the 2 sandwich effects he teaches are some of the best things you can do with a deck of cards. I was going to review that another day. I've had that for a while, but let's focus on this download. The production quality is amazing. Great camera, great audio, over-the-shoulder shots. It's beautiful. Tony's teaching is another highlight. He is so thorough, and he repeats himself a lot, so I found it funny in my rewatch. You could play a drinking game, take a shot every time he says, "What's going to happen is."
And what's gonna happen is just, and what's gonna happen is when you, and what's gonna happen, okay, so what's gonna happen is now what's gonna happen is, and what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen is basically,
Julian!
Alright guys, so chapter 1. This is Tony's work on Ricky Smith's cherry control. The cherry control is one of the cleanest controls you can do, in my opinion, and Tony has a lot of wonderful applications for it. First of all, you learn the control right off the bat, and then he goes into his ways of using it, and they're brilliant. You can do a color-changing deck routine with it. An effect he teaches is his inversion routine, and this uses the cherry control, but also uses a lot of other things you get to learn. He teaches you his DMB spread control, he teaches you Tommy Wonder's Wonder Reverse, and also, one of the hardest moves, the Ambitious Riser. But his take on the Ambitious Riser actually made it easier for me to learn. That was one of the moves that I kind of gave up on, but Tony's way of doing it clicked for me. And I think that boils down to how good of a teacher he is. The last part of this chapter, he teaches you his red and black routine. Now this one's awesome. It uses the Ambitious Riser and of course the cherry control. Basically the spectator, he thinks he's holding all the black cards in his hand, or all the red cards, and they change. They change to the other color, and your packet of the other color changes visually. And it's amazing. I highly recommend this whole chapter. First of all, you can buy them all individually, and this one has the most bang for your buck. It's going to be $20, but you get 50 minutes, as opposed to the other ones, which are the same price, but they're each like 20 minutes long. One of the highlights of this is his philosophy on angles. He breaks it down a lot during the DMB spread control and also the cherry control at the beginning. But his philosophy on angles and how they apply is worth its weight in gold. So if you do choose to buy one of these chapters individually, make sure it's this one, because you get all the bonuses with the Ambitious Riser, the DMB spread control, and obviously the cherry control. But let's talk about chapter 2. So chapter 2 is the Curiosity from North Dakota. This is a wonderful visual routine you could do with any deck, and essentially your spectator chooses a card and you use the aces, and one of the aces changes into his card for a brief second, and then all 4 change into the 4 of a kind of whatever card he chose. Overall, this is a pretty easy effect to perform, but there's one part in the way Tony does it where he uses a color change from Dan and Dave, and I find it impossible. It's called the palming exercise. He teaches you how to do it. I find it impossible. I end with the Bertram change, but it's an adaptable thing. If you're not at that level, you can supplement. Either way, I think a highlight of this chapter is when he's talking about forcing. He has a very similar approach to Danny D'Artise. It's more relaxed and carefree, and I think you should try to adapt that, especially if you're not confident in your classic force. We as magicians, we're dealing with methods that have been invented, some of them almost 100 years ago, and he has a little rant where he talks about, something we're all guilty of, and I think it's worth a listen, so check it out.
I'm taking out the aces. How hard is it to take out the aces, right? If you wouldn't take them out, put them on top, and be like what is that, right? It makes no sense, right? It doesn't flow, right? Everything you're doing is in service of the method, which sucks, right? And that's not what sleight of hand is, right? Sleight of hand should be always a slave in the sewers of your external reality. So
in relation to what he was just talking about, he teaches a great switch out. It's excellent. And in this chapter, you also learn the Mahatma control. He doesn't call it that, but he mentions the shuffle is something he saw Tom Mullica doing all the time. And yeah, it's a Mahatma control, and it's awesome. So chapter 2, I love it, and you will too. Chapter 3, the color change. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this one. Tony, it looks beautiful, but in my opinion, so does a Nerd and Age Change done right. His is very knacky, and you end with a single card, which is cool, but again, it's like, I don't know. To the effect on a layman, I think it's the same thing as just a basic color change, so I wouldn't spend money on this one. You might be disappointed if you buy this one individually, but I don't know. Overall, this whole project, like I said, it's one of my favorite things in card magic, this download in particular, and the interview. The interview is where things really get great. It's only 20 minutes long, and a majority of it is, again, back to angles and actually performing for a live audience.
Sleight of hand is a living, breathing thing. It's not just, here's the move, now you just go and do it.
Yeah.
It has to live in the moment.
It's just a deep dive into why we're doing what we're doing, and he nails it. I give this the highest recommendation, 5 out of 5 overall rating. Check it out. And subscribe. Look forward to more reviews. Peace.